All right, good afternoon and welcome to Matters Arising this beautiful afternoon. Try to wrap up all that has happened around the world in maybe an hour or so, making us look at all sides of the matter and analyzing them according to happenings, intentions, happenings, and also what becomes of what has happened. Welcome, guys. On the set is Philip and the prophet himself, Eli. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, brother.
The coming back of Sim Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, is closer than ever. Everybody is talking. Everybody is saying something. The APC said they are ready to welcome him back into their fold. Is it welcome back or welcome him into APC if he decides to join APC? And also that if he wants to, of course, by the convention of the party, he becomes automatically the leader of APC if he wants to. I don't know. Let me start with you, Philip. Do you think he will want to decamp to APC?
That's a very tough one, because it is tough in the sense that Fubara is an adult. Fubara is a PDP governor. Fubara is yet to come back to governance after his suspension. So decision that an adult will make will be difficult to unearth because I'm not in his mind. So yes, but having said that, there's a wave in the South currently. The PDP governors are on exodus from PDP into APC. We don't know if that wind will also blow Fubara in Rivers State because the wind has affected Delta and Akwa Ibom. What is Cross River is already APC, Edo is already APC. The only state left is Bayelsa and Rivers. So let's wait. Fubara is to return back to office in less than 72 hours. So when he comes back, he will make his decision whether to remain in the PDP or to go to the APC and give us the same reason like Delta State and Akwa Ibom that is going to the APC so that the Rivers can enjoy dividends of democracy being in the same party with the Central. So it's yet to be discovered. So we are in the waiting game. So let's wait and see.
Okay, so let's analyze it a little bit further. The local government elections that just happened, the bulk of the local government chairmen went to APC. Traditionally, they were all PDP. I think only about 3 went to PDP. The other 21 or thereabout are now in APC. Of course, most of those candidates were in PDP. That's number one. Number two, we see the House of Assembly. They're still in PDP. The bulk of the members, if not all the members of the House, they're in PDP. And they still remain PDP. Though we know their godfather's leg is one leg here, one leg there. If it crosses over to APC, because it's a fragile piece, whatever angle you are looking at it from, it's a fragile piece. If trouble comes up later, what will happen? It will be very easy for the PDP to impeach him if he dares go to APC. This is just some analysis. What do you think he will do?
His case is a very, very delicate case because even as a PDP governor, his fight was within the camp of PDP. He was particularly fought by Wike, a PDP member. His godfather, the one that made him the governor of the state. Now, APC has a slogan, even before they began the manifestation of, open manifestation of, you have to belong to them or you will be an enemy. When Oshomole told Nigerians and the whole world that whatever sins you commit, once you join APC, your sins will be forgiven. I want to believe that Fubara was not suspended just because the presidency wanted him suspended. I think they were not comfortable with certain things with him. That led to the suspension of him. And now, his ability to come back, if eventually, because this is Nigeria, everything is still possible. If eventually by the 18th of this month, they respect what they say, by allowing him to come back, not extending the suspension, which initially was not, there was no reason for it. You agree with me that he will want to come back without having all these fights again. So it's like a man between the river, the deep blue sea, and the devil. He's between the state assembly, PDP members, and the presidency, APC. Now, which is much stronger? Which haunt him more? Is it the state assembly, if there was any need for them to want to impeach him, or the fear of the executive that can still wake up and ask that he go on suspension, which he couldn't fight? So I think his fate lies within whatever agreement him. Remember, he has met with the president several occasions with Wike, his godfather, whom is a PDP person, him a PDP person, but they never went to PDP for settlement. It was APC government, APC members that called for meetings and tried to settle them. So I am sure he's an adult. I know he's an adult, and I'm sure he also knows what is good for him. He wants to retain that office as the governor of the state, elected governor of his state. I'm sure whatever agreement they had is not in the open. We didn't know. The only thing we know is that Wike made one or two utterances that there's peace now. The presidency is trying to say, okay, fine, the peace has returned to Rivers State, and so the state of emergency will give way for the governor to return. So it depends on the agreement they have.
All right.
Because if the presidency and Wike are not fighting him, I do not see where the state assembly will be fighting him. So,
okay. So now the ADC chairman in the state said this piece is very fragile. Do you think it's very fragile?
Of course, I align myself with the position of the ADC, the Rivers State ADC state chairman, to say that the peace that is currently between Wike and his godson is fragile. It's an understatement. It's clearly fragile because you can see it from their body language. After the so-called settlement, and the only time you saw two of them together, we haven't seen them or heard anything from either of them apart from Wike, who is speaking. And the ADC, state chairman also went further and make a statement that make a lot of meaning to me. He said, Mr. Ibas, you have done your bit for purpose of accountability. You should show to Rivers State what you did with the Rivers State people's money while you are there for purpose of accountability. That he should prove himself. You see, yes, why the ADC man is saying that the peace is fragile, because from the body language of all that has transpired. I also read somewhere that Mr. President is coming to the country today. Fubara is also coming to the country. Fubara is coming in from London, and as it were, the president went on a working vacation between France and UK. He's also returning today. Fubara is returning 2 days to his reinstatement, and Mr. President is also returning to resume work after his vacation. And now the ADC, which is the proper opposition, is now saying that, look, yes, Mr. Military Administrator, you have finished your stay here, but we need to know what comes in, how did you spend your money, what comes in the IDR, and what you got from federal allocation, and how you expanded this money while you hold sway. These are very important things. Whether the stay of the administrator was legal or illegal, monies came into the state while he was holding sway, and this money belonged to Rivers people, and he was in charge of the monies. So he need to tell the whole world how he has administered that money, because he's busy organizing a transition, program from church to whatever. And this they cost money, River State money, and of what benefit with this Thanksgiving and all the rest of them be to the Rivers people, having deprived them of their, their fundamental human rights, civil rule that they opted for. So a lot is about this Fubara coming in, not coming in, peace between Wike and Fubara and all of that. Like he rightly said, where is the peace in the first place? If you say there's peace, because Wike has said at the onset that Fubara was lucky. What he had wanted is outright impeachment. Has that been resolved? You know, and you also said here, a local government election was purportedly conducted, although the court has said that the people that went to court the election lack local standing, so their matter was thrown off court. It's in the paper today too. So that is by the side. Now, a local government election was conducted. The city governor, who is returning, is a PDP member. The godfather, who is the minister of FCT, is a PDP member. The only local government the PDP was able to win were those local government that related to the minister of FCT. That is within the metropolis.
Is it that they were able to win or were allocated to them?
Well, it is win. You see, whether you are the one who said it here, that whether they are allocated or not is the person that is in office now. So the court has said so. So it is. But again, the point I'm trying to drive at here is this: during this election, the election that proposed this so-called local government chairman, we said there is peace. Why I am hammering on the point that the peace is fragile. This is my point. The election that brought in this local government chairman, Wike was absent. I mean, Wike was there, but Fubara was absent. Fubara local government was taken by the APC, but he was not there. So if he subscribed to peace and he subscribed to all of that has happened before his reinstatement, it would have been proper to see him participating in the election. What it shows that is a clear indication that he's protesting that his right as a governor is being taken away from him. So I don't see a peace settlement or only peace there at all. So that's why I want to agree in total with the ADC state chairman of Rivers State that this so-called peace that is being front everywhere is fragile.
Looking at Lagos State, for example, because sometimes these are antecedents of things that can happen any day, anytime. Definitely, Wike will not be in power forever. The star boy of Lagos, the president of Nigeria, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, will not be in government forever. Looking at antecedents, if these kind of things happens in Lagos, it was about happening in Lagos in 2000, 2001 or thereabout, during the 8 years of Obasanjo's rule, would they have taken it? Because this, like I normally say, sets precedents.
Well, you see, in an attempt to have this matter in the way it went in Rivers, in Lagos then, the governor of Lagos then, Bola Ahmed, stood firm and also threatened the presidency that Obasanjo dare not make that attempt of imposing, what do you call it now, suspending him and putting in a sole administrator. So that alone answers what you just asked. You know, in the first place, what happened in Rivers could not happen in Lagos, even when Lagos had one or two issues with presidency over creation of states and whatever. You understand? So there's no way you would have assumed or imagined that would have happened in Lagos in the first place, because the governor stood firm. But in the case of Fubara, he, just like the case of Kogi State, prior to the election that made him the governor, he was not really interested. I don't think he felt he see himself as becoming governor. And against all odds, the then governor, exiting governor, that is the Wike, saw something in him and fought his own people to stand still for the sake of Fubara to become governor. When he became governor, that's when their problem started. So, if this problem started in Rivers, for whatever difference they have, that made Wike wanting him to be removed by the state assembly, and along the line, it was a tough fight because the state people, he has won their heart as their governor. And the presidents have to step in to bring in state of emergency and then suspend him for the state, for a sole administrator to pilot the affair of the state for the period of time. You wouldn't know what Wike's interests were at the time he picked on him to become the governor. And you wouldn't know if he has now decided to tour the path Wike wanted him to tour. So it's a very delicate matter in terms of he is coming back. The ADC chairman saying he do not believe that the peace is either permanent or original. I want to believe that as long as Wike and Fubara do not have problem again, the peace might be permanent.
All right.
And, okay.
We'll be monitoring the whole scenario and see how they go, because human character is not what you can predict all the time. Fubara may just have his own issues that he will bring up. I mean, don't forget, I'm not sure anybody will try this again. I'm not sure. Not only that, elections are coming very quickly. Fubara may just act as a soup spoiler on some sort, but we'll be looking at those issues. The other issue that is still also pressing is that the Senate is resuming, I think, next week or so, and the issue of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has not been settled. Akpoti-Uduaghan said, "I am resuming as the Senate is opening up." A lot of legal luminaries have tried to explain. They have gotten a political solution to that of Rivers State. This administration has been plagued by this unconstitutional act by the presidency. You know, these things, are they going to go away soon? We are leaving Fubara and Wike and the president and the Rivers people. We're still going into the National Assembly, Akpoti-Uduaghan's and Akpabio and the Senate. I mean, why can't they resolve these issues amicably and in a political way? Philip?
Well, that's what one would have expected, but it's not happening. If you look at the paper, I think it's these days that asks some legal experts for their opinion as related to the issue of Natasha, being suspended, the legality of her suspension, the expiration of the suspension, the court issues. And if you look at all the opinion, apart from one, they all boil down to want to say that the law that was supposed to be an instrument that's supposed to work in favor of Natasha is now being used as an instrument of punishment, in the sense that, yes, 6 months has elapsed, but the Senate are now saying sub judice, using technicalities, which the law trump up for just the reason of the fact that the matter is a court. And if you look at those analyses, they were very blunt, especially the one by Mudaga Oji, Dr. Mudaga. He said the genesis of this problem is the judgment of the Justice Yanko, who do not, as a matter of fact, give a concrete judgment. Because when she gave her judgment, both parties went celebrated that they have won. Those people who celebrated also went back to court on appeal. What you celebrated that you won, you went to court on appeal. He cited so many authorities that this issue had came up before. I think he cited Justice Aniagulu, who had spoken on this one, and he discussed the issue of the law being an axe, and he refused to say that the law is an axe, but is being employed to punish Natasha. There's this expert who wrote from Lesotho, who happened to be a legislative legal expert, who said that what has happened is contributory negligence on the part of the legal team of Natasha, that they would have employed that political solution you are talking about, or a subtle political solution, by, instead of writing to the clerk of the Senate, Rather, the man should have asked for a meeting wherein they could have a meeting and he could even get evidence against the clerk of the Senate, because the one-on-one discussion would have aided him if he approaches court, but he never did that. He just applied the law the way it is. And he also said that, look, this legislative law is new in Nigeria, because he just, before now, there were nothing like legislative legal issues, not up until 1999 when we returned to democracy. And people, lawyers, it's a novel area in legal practice, and that he able to get all of this from the fact that he practiced under the feet of Femi Falana's son, and that even though he had not had any master in law, but is very thorough and is very knowledgeable in that area. So what am I trying to say? Yes, this issue of Natasha, I have spoken on it before now. The question you ask, why are they not applying political solution? That is my problem. I think it's beyond what meets the eyes. I think it's a real personal thing between the gladiator, the actors and the actresses, because the issue of seat shouldn't take this kind of extent wherein they had to go to court of appeal, and accusation and counter accusation are being made. Just the mere fact that my seat was changed and I wasn't settled with it. This is not the first time we're having it in the Senate. The sitting Senate president also encountered it with the Senate president, Senator Saraki, and it was amicably resolved within, because they were it was man to man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring. Is it a chauvinistic tendency that is displaying?
So it's a complex issue. Having listened to those legal experts, you will agree that yes, the proper thing to do on the part of both parties, especially on part of Natasha, is to find a political solution, because the technicality of the law is going to work against her. Because if, for instance, she didn't go to court, she have finished her 6 months suspension. So the proper thing is for her to resume. But
will it have remained legal for them to suspend another senator for 6 months? What is new to our constitution is it should not be condoned.
The truth is illegal. The truth is that Nigeria is an interesting country. Before now, they were suspension, and the court has adjudicated on them, and pronouncements were made. So the thing that is baffling everyone here is that why is it that the court she approached, the Federal High Court, refused to make pronouncement? Why is it that the court is fluid in her decision?
Okay, let me point you there, because so that our viewers can learn more. If a court makes a judgment on a particular case, a pronouncement was made and said that it's unconstitutional for the Senate to suspend another senator for that long, does it not remain a standing order?
If you look at that judgment, the court didn't make a pronouncement. The court merely said that her suspension was excessive.
No, I'm not talking about that of Natasha. Other pronouncements that were made before.
They are precedents. That's what I have. That's the question I was raising. Why is it that the court refused to follow the precedent of other judgment? Why is it that you had to make this fluid kind of judgment that has put everybody in confusion? So you see, that's why I said this country is an interesting country. Is it that the court is shying away from being seen, taking? I can't really explain, because it's not a question of taking side, because the precedents are there.
Yes.
The cases are there, plethora cases from Ali Dume to Dino Milai, and many others. So why is it that the court run away from following the former precedent? So it's something I cannot answer, because I don't know why the court reached that decision they reached.
I was listening to Edward Onoja, the immediate past deputy governor of Kogi State, and he made he said something when Shehu Akimbole was interviewing him. He said, look, what we should look at is the people from our senatorial district. He said, I'm not apportioning blame to who or what. He said, but when you want justice, justice should be about delivering what is good to the people. He said, as we are talking now, of course, he also advocates for a political solution, that the state could have made a political solution. But the APC has an election to run in 2027. And the APC is still depriving the people of Kogi Central representation through the Senate. So what face will they save by going back? Speak on that.
Now, the APC you're talking about here have their own personal interest. With every indications, from every indication with what they are doing, their body language, their way of doing things, it's either you belong to APC or you are no longer very, very much needed. Now, either you like it or not, Natasha as a person is somehow powerful, all right? And she is not an APC senator. She's a PDP senator. An APC want to cripple the strength of opposition at all costs. So, if they have one way to bring down one of the PDP senators that have a voice, she has a voice. How many female senators do we have in Nigeria at the moment? And among them, she's one of the well-spoken,
most vocal,
and occupied, before now she occupied as chairperson of this chairperson, she occupied very important offices. All right? Yet, you're talking about an APC having an election in future and not doing anything about the representation of the certain people within that region. I want to believe it's because when some of them even talk about political solution, is it that she should retrieve her statement if actually she was being accused, harassed sexually, or she should apologize having been offended, or indirectly she should join APC.
Those cases are still in court.
They're still in court.
They're still being addressed in court. But we're talking about those cases don't negate her being a senator.
The simple reason for all this prolonged suspension and trying to have other way is because one, she's an APC, a PDP member. I think it's an indirect, because remember the presidency is APC, the state governor my state governor is APC, the Senate president is APC. So I think they have seen a place where they could weaken the PDP, the opposition, a PDP senator. If a PDP senator is not representing her people, the people may get tired of having her there. Maybe for her to be able to talk to them, they will be getting tired. They won't be able to listen to her very well again. And probably it's a tactical way of seeing if an APC member can become the senator from that representing that constituency in the nearest future. So I think it's more of a party thing than the thing we are seeing. And then for people to say she should apply, political solution, like I just mentioned, maybe if Natasha had resigned her membership of PDP and joined the APC, just based on what Adams Oshomole have said long before now, and what is happening in the present dispensation, probably her sins would have been forgiven.
Right.
Because APC would have been, on her behalf, talk to Akpabio, and of course Akpabio will not look into the presidency, and APC is part and tell them.
All right.
So maybe that's what they want.
Now, just on a very light note, the way I see it, Abure plans LP Democracy Institute. Very, very, very interesting story. Is it the owner of Labour Party? Labour as an institution owns Labour Party. He's the administrator, right? Yeah, the present chairman at this particular moment. And also, he has had issues. In fact, they are big issues. Labour is not Labour as we know it now. Even INEC right now, as it is, are not still recognizing them as the authority in Labour. And now he said he wants to have a democracy institute. Philip, how do you see that coming to being?
The truth is that no particular human being owns a political party. A political party is owned by a collective of people who believe in the political ideology. But the interesting thing here is that at this point, Abure is the chairman of the Labour Party.
But INEC said no.
Well, that one is neither here nor there, because there are also other news that came out that INEC is still having Abure's name in their portal. Like when this matter initially came up, he made that point very clear that for us to know who is authentic until INEC publish whose name is in the portals of INEC. So the issue of labor...
No, I'm talking about very recently that INEC refused to recognize the signature for people that they are candidates to contest the by-election that just passed.
And after that has happened, after the election has happened, there's also another news that says that INEC has recognized, it's back and forth. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not disputing your, but it's back and forth. So that shouldn't form a basis of discussion, because the truth is that we don't even know what INEC is doing with the opposition political parties as at today, because we have so many stories across political parties. But what is important is the issue of Abure trying to establish or proposing to establish a democratic institute.
Yeah, not just the issue of the establishment of the Democracy Institute, but the legality of him having the right to do that.
That's what I've just said here. Yes, if he's not on the portal, and even if he's on the portal, if his tenure comes and goes, he's not there. But the truth, what I see in it, every chairman of a political party or a president of a country, at the time of your reign, you come up with your ideas and the things you want to achieve. So what Abure is trying to achieve, he said that they have even started, that by reason of this, their action, that Senator Irite Kebbi is elected. What he's saying is that the so-called Democratic Institute is talking about is all about inclusivity, wherein women, disabled people, and all of that will be given opportunity. I think what he's trying to do, he said their party members will be trained, and those who are contesting and all that to ensure that everybody is accommodated. Maybe, I don't know how they intend to do it, but it's a noble idea, of sort. But the question here is the question you are raising, because you're like, kicking the ball before blowing the whistle, because this idea is noble, but do you have the authority to carry out this idea? That's the question you're asking. Yes, if Abure is the chairman of the Labour Party, is the recognized chairman, and he wants to establish a democratic institute where he will train people for purpose of inclusivity in the political party and internal democracy, it's a welcome development. But the question again is, does he have that power? And if he has the power, does he have the wherewithal? And if he has, where is the fund going to come from? How is he intend to achieve it? Those are the questions that are begging for answer. Abure is encouraged if he's been recognized. Go ahead.
Eli, Abure, do you think he's a joker? Because the courts also said that he's not the person that should be in charge in the last election that we just had. Hold on. Now, him that is looking at how institutions can help propel good representation, he has also not done well with the leadership of Labour Party. The Labour Party is in disarray. So I think one of the first person that should go to that institute should be Abure himself. What do you think?
Probably that is the reason why he wants to establish it. Of course, because so I can be a beneficiary.
Then it's legality.
Now, but again, legality. You see, if INEC, like I had mentioned here before, if INEC, if his name is what is on the portal, I want you to understand one thing, that every political party registered is left for the parties or the party to do whatever programs that will not affect, that is not anti-constitution, to strengthen her membership. Because you see, the strength of every political party also lies in the ideology of the party, the membership of the party, and people's confidence. People's confidence increases the membership of the party. If a particular party today have members up to 150 million, for instance, and the members, there's the proper internal democracy where people that will be vying for offices emerge by normal internal processes without any grievance from any other members. You will agree with me that automatically, if the members of that party vote for their member, they will become the elected people in every offices, right? So now, for Abure, if he is the recognized party chairman.
No, I want you to base your argument on the knowledge of what you know about the court, Labour Party, and Abure. For example, the House Labour Party right now, as we speak, is in disarray. The party needs to be brought together to see how they can do well and prosper. Now, in fact, all the elected members in Labour Party, he has suspended almost all of them. Do you understand? And the party looking as if it doesn't exist right now, morally, legally, does it have the right to do that? Of course, the intentions are good. Do you understand? The intentions are good, but
if he is the person that INEC recognizes and he has an agreement with his cabinet, with his executive, and they think that the program will strengthen the party.
Based on court judgment recently.
Based on court judgment.
The court said that he's no longer...
So whatever he is doing, you see, we are Nigerians. It's not because it's Labour Party. We are Nigerians. Whatever he is doing, he's doing it to get self-recognition,
okay,
and public exposure. He is not representing us by law. He is not a member or he's not the chairman of Labour Party, so he cannot establish any institution on behalf of Labour Party. As far as the court do not recognize him and INEC do not recognize him, it's null and void.
All right. No, Allah, we'll be looking at how that plays out. Philip, Kebbi State is already in turmoil, attacked by bandits, whatever you call it, all form of violence in Kebbi State. Now, between the governor and the former minister of Attorney General, minister for Justice, because he wants to come in, there's squabbles, and the Malamina has petitioned the former Kebbi State governor or the present Kebbi State governor that look at all that he wants to do. I mean, wouldn't they just be able to work in peace between the former minister and the present governor?
The truth is that it's interesting to see how the cookie crumbles. Just yesterday, Malami called the shots in the nation.
Yeah.
So the security apparatus are under his armpit. But today is the one crying foul that he's been suppressed and all the rest of them. So that tells you how transient power is. And people should learn that yesterday you are in power, today you could be out of power.
Yes. Crying wolf.
Crying wolf. So if Malami is saying that talks are being imported into Kebbi State from neighboring country, Niger Republic, and they are being armed to suppress and intimidate the opposition. So, and he has petitioned all of that. Malami is a very senior lawyer. He knows the implication of the petition he has penned to the security agencies, because he who alleges had to prove. So if he had the formation, then it should oblige the relevant agencies with the information for them to work. But again, this is going to play out more of it is going to play out, because the northern borders are very porous, and that's what they used against Jonathan in 2015. So it's now on them.
Who used on Jonathan?
Well,
the North.
You know very well that the present APC government,
yes,
they were the one that used it. The APC government used what they are crying about now against the PDP Jonathan-led government in 2015. So if dogs are now eating themselves, so it's an interesting thing. So we'll watch how the drama plays out. So I'm not surprised that Malami is crying wolf, because when you enjoy power and you leave power, you know what it means when power is used against you.
Yes.
Because the truth remains that Malami might not be far from the truth, but who is he going to tell it to? Who is going to believe him? So he should be able to tell us what he did while he was in office, what he did with power, and what the man is doing with power now. So we'll just oppose that and see who is right or who is wrong.
Okay, Yoruba Union wants Nigeria not to repeat mistake of voting for Tinubu and his ally. Well, what do you think about that? In fact, the main reason they said the Yoruba Union is because Tinubu is from that extraction. So they're saying that everybody's being what is biting everybody now is the same thing: hunger, insecurity, and so many. It doesn't spare Yoruba or Hausa or Igbo or any other tribe in this country.
Before now, this is not the first time a respected group of Yorubas openly showed their disapproval of His Excellency becoming the president of Nigeria. Even before he became president, in the first attempt, you agree with me that Farah Tomi, late Adebanjo of wonderful blessed memory, openly came out and gave reasons or came out and gave their support, to Peter Obi instead of Bola Ahmed, to become the president of Nigeria. You see, so I think it's a continuation of a group of the Yorubas, saying that Nigerians should not repeat the mistake of re-electing His Excellency come 2027. Now the question is this: in the first place, is there a mistake of electing him? I wouldn't say yes and no, but of course on policies that he came on board with and so many things that are affecting Nigerians today, to some Nigerians actually look like it was a mistake, because what was expected of a man with his record from Nadeko, from the governor of Lagos State, is different from what we are seeing today. The hunger in the land, the distrust among Nigerians because of religion or political affiliation, because we belong to one political party, and I have my interest in that political party. We no longer trust ourselves. We can no longer do things together as one Nigerians, you understand? So if a group of Yorubas have come up to say that this same mistake of voting him should not repeat itself, you will now take your time and evaluate. Are they just criticizing him? Are there some part of Yorubas who do not get benefit from him, a personal benefit from him? Is that their reason? And if you look at it, if the way the government is going is not really answering the yearnings of the Nigerian population, if it's not answering, with our resources what we expected, then we should look into the advice, of course, and be guided to either take the advice or let it be.
All right, notable Yoruba characters, whether they are in the comedy industry or in the legal industry, Farah Tomi, Adebanjo, Falz, Mr. Macaroni, and a host of other ones at the particular time said, no, Tinubu is not to be trusted with power. Now, he's won, he's in the saddle right now, but as we speak, elections are knocking at our doors, 2027. Now, this warning is coming again. Do you think Nigerians should take it more seriously?
You see, when you were making your statement, I smile and I laugh, because it is your theory that is now in the saddle is the president, so let him be.
No, it's not a theory. He's practically the president of Nigeria.
So the thing is this group of Yorubas, especially this cultural group that spoke, you see, it's like saying that you don't need a soothsayer to tell you what it should be. We don't even need their advice not to repeat the mistake we made. That is why the PDP has said that they will champion electoral reform to ensure electronic voting and result transmission is entrenched in the Electoral Act and the electoral process, so that it will be part and parcel of our election in 2027. Their argument is this: if POS could work in their remote village, there will be no reason to say that beavers are not working anywhere. That glitches should never be any excuse, and that it will not be taken. So that the people should come out en masse and vote, and to ensure that their vote counts. And that's what this cultural group has said, that Nigerians should go out en masse and register and come out and vote in 2021 and vote Tinubu out. Because what is happening in Nigeria today is that it's not Yoruba-like. That this is not the best of the Yorubas that is representing them at this time. And they feel disappointed and disgrace. So they want to, redeem themselves as a Yoruba people. That is not the best of Yoruba. And if Yoruba is to present their best 11, they wouldn't have, as a matter of fact, present the sitting president. So they are sending warning to the entire nation that on their part, they have made up their mind that they are not going to throw that part again. There's no sentiment. Whether it's our brother, it's from our ethnic group, whatever, but it's shared common religion, it's not an issue. That what is paramount is for Nigeria to elect a man or a woman that is of character and integrity. A man or woman who had ideas, not a man or woman who is bereft of an idea, who had nothing on his head to offer to the people. So this warning is long overdue. And why is it very important and is reported and being discussed? Is because of where the quarter is coming from. It's coming from right from the president home. That is why it's important, and that's why Nigeria should take it very seriously. Because no man knows a man more than his brothers and sisters. If the man, brothers and sisters come to tell us that, look, you have made mistake by electing our brother for one term, don't repeat that, that mistake second time. Then it's left for Nigeria. But for me, it's an important warning that Nigeria should take very seriously.
Okay, all right. Time is fast spent, but we still have some to talk about in a very... Omeha says that there should be an election for the INEC chairman. Well, of course, this one is not possible at this time because it's already enshrined in our laws that constitutionally that is the president that chooses the INEC chairman. I mean, before we can change that, we have to go through the process of changing the law.
Sorry to come in at this point. Yes, we're the first to advocate it on this table.
Yeah.
But I will say that it's still possible, because if we're saying the electoral reform and that amend the electoral act to accommodate and entrench the electronic voting and transmission to become part of the law, there's nothing wrong by now that you cannot amend the electoral act to say that the person that will be saddled with the leadership of the INEC and those who will be saddled with the management of INEC should be by election. There's nothing wrong.
No. What I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
it's not that
I agree. It's time but even once the law is amended.
But even the transmission of result electronically that they've been advocating for by those that have been advocating for it, where has it gotten to?
We're saying the same thing. If they will do it, if they will carry out amendment of the electoral law, when they are including, I'm joining my voice to that of Abure, when they are amending the law to include the electronic voting as a legal aspect of the electoral act, they should also bring in the appointment of the electoral body or its chairman and the commissioner by saying that it should no longer be by president but it should be by election. But the only problem you have to, like you said, the time is, I think that appointment of electoral chairman is part of the constitution, not the electoral act. I think that's where they will run into problems.
Exactly. Yes. Because whatever is a cumbersome process that's going to go through. Yeah. The one that
I think it doesn't rest on with the electoral act alone.
Exactly.
I think it's the constitution.
That's a change from the constitution.
It has to go through the constitution amendment of the constitution. But again, it's a welcome idea and it's an eye-opening. We've been yearning for this. Are there more people?
But one of the things we are looking at, will they do it? Even the one that is within their power to do, have they done it?
No, you see,
that's the quagmire we are in this country.
And that's why the PDP said they are going to take it upon themselves. Don't forget.
But it's time to do it quick.
Don't forget, in 2014, the likes of the city president,
Amechi and
Buhari and the other, they marched to INEC to say that INEC, as a matter of fact, must promise and must ensure that there's free and fair election. Because
they had somebody on the saddle that was not a beast.
And that there should be electoral reform.
Oh yes, they had somebody on the saddle that was what the people was agitating for.
You see,
but this particular president has told us that they will abuse me, they will say whatever they say. He said, but I'm the president. So they didn't see a beast in what's it called? Jonathan played fairly, and allowed people to have their say, while democracy has its way.
No,
Yeah.
you can't say our president is a pig.
Yes.
No. No. You don't understand. I'm talking about.
Chairman.
No, I'm talking about Jonathan. Jonathan was a cool-headed personality.
Yes.
Do you understand? So he was not violent. He was not anti-people's agitation. I'm not saying that this president is a pig. No, not at all.
Yes.
He can choose to be listen to the people or not listen to the people. But if Jonathan was.
I think the way to put it that they had a president that had a listening ear.
That's what I'm saying. I said that.
Yes, who is a Democrat.
Exactly.
But the city president is someone who has already had a mind of his own on what he wants to do.
Exactly. Whatever you say, for example, if what everybody said in this country about rivers, the president listened. I mean, they could have. This state of emergency would have been long gone.
Well, you see,
Under this president, we see they conducted local government election under an administrator. Under this president, they presented a budget. Under this president, they constituted a River State electoral body. I mean, these are things that who approved the chairman of the body.
Well, that's a matter for another.
That's a matter
That's a matter for another day.
Yes.
So based on this analysis, we can say that everybody. Okay, for example, we are talking about the legislative arm right now. The court has said you can't suspend for 6 months. Of course, those are vague. Yes, we agree. But they still said it must be 6 months. 6 months has finished. These are things that they should listen to the voice of the people.
And of course, the president has the power to have addressed some of these things that are lingering and affecting our democracy. I think that's where you are coming from. But yet, you see, we are different people with different minds and our opinions. You understand? And then when you talked about PDP, you know, constantly saying PDP say they're going to champion this. It's not. It shouldn't be PDP alone. It's the whole Nigerians. We are not. All of us.
Even the PDP we are talking about now, have they stood up to champion it?
Well,
we will. Look, whatever should be right now should be right now.
No, you see, there's a process to everything. PDP had been having crisis all this while. It's even good for them to have identified this now and begin to talk about how they intend to champion. And that's where I was coming to. It's not only PDP issue, it's we, the whole Nigerians. So if any group stand up to make a move for this, we should not just relax and say it's PDP's affairs, maybe because they want to take over power. It is, there's no assurance that whoever becomes the next president must even come from PDP or APC. We have other political parties.
All right, let's leave that alone. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Anambra State. Anambra State has been on the news. Kachuku, Ekwenife, and all that. I hope they won't burn the place down.
It shows
Briefly.
It shows the character of the leader in the state governor. You know, when a state governor does not have what I call total respect for the people he governs, you don't open mouth and just talk to a married woman, because she's not your party member.
Okay, we don't have too much time. But the response of Ekwenife, was it the best?
Well, it's an electionary year. So in politics, during campaigns, well, it's campaign, it's political, it's campaign language. So I wouldn't.
But don't you think that was excessive?
Well, I'm not in a position to say what the law allows in campaign ground or what the law does not allow, because I don't have it with me at the moment.
Okay, all right, maybe we'll discuss that one. But the APC candidate, I mean, we saw him being dragged at the Hilton here, that a lot of people said he's owing them money, about 1 billion naira. I mean, could he be trusted with power? I mean, that's a hit on him. Well, maybe we'll look for time, maybe like tomorrow, and talk about all the happenings in Anambra. It's been matters arising, all that happened in the politics of Nigeria for the past 24 hours. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. It's still landslide news.